So many men are so quick to say a woman has daddy issues, yet failing to realize many of us have mommy issues. I had them, still have a few. My mama was trying to raise 2 boys to be men. So I struggled with communication, being open, being vulnerable, being sensitive. Because every time I went to my mama trying to be open, trying to be vulnerable, it was always, boy, go somewhere, I ain't trying to hear that. She thought she was doing what was right. Raising a man, thinking she was making me tough. I struggled with affection.
What's good, YouTube? This is KB LaFleur. You can call me KB. Welcome back to another video, man. We got a mixture of 2 TikTok videos. But before we get into that, man, do me a huge favor. Leave me a like, a comment, and subscribe. So, man, we got 2 videos, man, that I just honestly feel like, man, that should be talked about a little bit more, man. You got toxic masculinity. And I think that kind of died down just a little bit. I don't really hear that as much. But I still do hear it. And you got, and a lot of people, you know, disapprove of that, man. So we ain't gonna hit on it too much. But then we also got, you know, we always hear women having daddy issues, women, you know, not having that father figure or whatever. But we do have a lot of men who have daddy issues of their own, who also has mommy issues, who needs a woman to cater to him 24/7. Woman who just babies this nigga. Now, once again, right, what women need to understand, because you will have some women jump over here and say, well, you know, that's what y'all want. It's not what we want. We don't want, no woman wants a man who's a bum. No guy wants to be a man that is a bum. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. They'll try to compare the two to say, well, you know, shoot, they look at a bum. They look at some of these, what we usually call homosexuals, niggas who just bounce around on females' couches, pretty much leeching off of females. They will sit up here and say that is what traditional men want. Pretty much women, man, who just do whatever for you. And that's not the case. Traditional men leads. Homosexuals don't. The woman leads. So, you know, we need to go ahead and get that shit out the way, man. We need to get that shit out the way. Like I said, you got a lot of men who are raised in households, and these men come from your single parent households. These men come from your single mothers. These men come from your single mothers, right? And these guys end up growing very emotional, coming with so much shit. And then, you know, and these be called your man babies. Your man babies. They always need a female for something. They always, oh baby, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Can you do this? Can you do that? Now, there's no need for that. As a man, you need to have your own. Now, of course, a lot of guys go through a bunch of shit. A lot of guys go through a bunch of shit. A lot of females go through a bunch of shit. Everybody's been to a point in their life to where they are struggling and they might need that help continuously. But at some point, it gotta stop. Before we get into this, man, do me a huge favor. Leave me a like, a comment, and subscribe.
Because they're considered the king of toxic masculinity.
Yeah, I've got that title.
Yeah.
Toxic masculinity is a term that was invented by women nobody wants to fuck to describe the men that the women do want to fuck.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
That's all it is. That's all it is. No, but on a real level, right, this whole idea of being toxically masculine is complete garbage. And the reason it's garbage is because it's a first world problem first. Because when you put males and females in survival situations, or the closer they are to a survival situation, the quicker they're going to revert to their gender roles. If you put a whole bunch of men and a whole bunch of women, you strand them on a desert island, the men would start having to build things and fight off the animals, and the women would start farming and whatever the women would do, right?
Exactly.
Yeah? So when shit hits the fan, everyone reverts to their natural gender roles. So if you live in a country like Romania or Russia or a country that's poor, the closer it is to survival, the lower the economic prosperity of the country, the closer people are to their natural gender roles. So Russian men are masculine, Russian females are feminine. But in America, it's the richest country in the world. It's a first world problem. All the women get to be stupid and the men get to be pussies.
And which is true, you know, when you look at India, when you look at Asia, when you look at all these other countries, they are rooted in their traditions. They have roles that each of them have to follow. So you got a traditional man, you will have a traditional woman. And then when you come over here to America, you have people, you got women calling you broke. You got, because you don't want to take them to a fancy restaurant. You got women freaking sitting over here calling you a misogynist because you're simply critiquing what they wearing. You're called a misogynist because, you know, hey sis, you shouldn't be going out here, man, sleeping with everybody, man, because it lowers your value. Now you're a misogynist. Now you're a slut shamer. And this, and once you, like you said, this is all first world problems. This is all the shit that you're going to get. You're going to get feminists. You're going to get slut shaming, slut walk, fat shaming, and all this extra stuff. Women thinking today in the Western society is skewed a lot. You can simply tell a female a fact, and she will literally sit up here and say, if her feelings get caught up into it, she will go with her feelings. I remember, like I said, I asked that girl. I asked her. I said, "Yo, sis, if I'm right, and I'm giving you irrefutable facts you just can't argue, but your feelings, but you feel that you're right so bad. What are you gonna go with?" She told me, "I'm gonna go with my emotions. I'm gonna go with my feelings." I asked her, "Why would you do that when I'm giving you facts that just can't be with? How are you able to still sit up here and say, well, you know, I'm gonna still just go with my feelings?" That's crazy. That's craziness. That's madness. And I'm telling you, that's how the majority of women think in America. Now, take this with a grain of salt, but I do remember they saying, because the Indian population is slowly decreasing on the female side because, you know, from my understanding, you had babies, they will kill off some of the daughters. So let's just say you'll have freaking, I don't know, 3 daughters in India. They will kill off those 3 daughters to keep down the female's population because they want more men than women, which I don't know how that's going to work. Now, like I said, take that with a grain of salt. But like I said, you go to these other countries, man, they don't look at this feminist bullcrap that these women look at. They can't, because the second a female sit over here and even bring up the word feminist, they're probably gonna get knocked over their head, because that shit is bad. That feminism has always been bad in any society. You look at it now, the divorce rates are high, marriage rates are low. You got more single mothers than you do anything in this world. I mean, like, my goodness. So this feminist bullcrap is just getting crazy. So when you're talking about, you know, your toxic masculinity, if that's the damn case, every other country then it has toxic masculinity, because like Andrew Tate said, you go to any of these other countries, man, they're going to be closer to their tradition. They're going to be closer to their traditional roots, which means everybody has a role. A man is going to be playing a role, a woman is going to be playing a role, not the other way around, where a woman is leading and a man is leading. It's just not going to freaking happen. So this toxic masculinity crap, it only flies in America because we're in a system where they're going to push this shit. We're in a system where right is wrong and wrong is right. I mean, like I said, just go outside and go look. And like I said, this stuff is a negative impact on kids. This way of thinking is going to come from a lot of your single mothers. This way of thinking is going to come from a lot of your bitter women. This way of thinking comes from a lot of your feminists, going into how this plays a part in a lot of men having mommy issues. Like I said, a lot of your men are coming from these single mother homes. So if they out here thinking so if you got a bunch of women thinking like feminists, you got a bunch of women sitting over here talking about toxic masculinity, being a pick-me and all this shit, and then they have a son, how do you think they're gonna raise their son?
So many men are so quick to say a woman has daddy issues, yet failing to realize many of us have mommy issues. I had them, still have a few. My mama was trying to raise 2 boys to be men, so I struggled with communication, being open, being vulnerable, being sensitive, because every time I went to my mama trying to be open, trying to be vulnerable, it was always, boy, go somewhere, I ain't trying to hear that. She thought she was doing what was right, raising a man, thinking she was making me tough. I struggled with affection. I could count on one hand how many times my mama told me she loved me growing up. I count on one hand how many times she hugged me, rubbed me on my back, gave me a forehead kiss, gave me some reassurance. I struggle with taking lead, because I had aggression and anger confused with I'm doing what I think is right to raise my boys. So every time I seen a woman who carried herself with the I'm independent, I got it, instead of stepping in, showing her that a man can take lead, that a man can lead her in the right direction, I automatically assumed that was just an angry woman. Or she doing too much, or she extra. Many of us struggle with mommy issues and don't even realize it. How many of us mature enough to admit that? It ain't always that she got daddy issues and that's the reason why the relationship not working. Sometimes it's really both of y'all dealing with some childhood trauma and childhood issues. What about you?
And you see what he said, right? My mom trying to raise 2 boys. They need a father figure. They need a father figure. Now, once can simply say, well, where the daddy at? Well, why the mama didn't vet the man? I mean, that's the biggest question. More than likely, freaking she done vetted the wrong guy and slept with him. Shit happens. Understandable. But at the end of the day, that still don't change the fact that this man was raised by his mom, and his mom had to raise 2 little boys. And that's what I'm saying. You will have feminists who are single, who will start putting shit into the kid's head. Now, I'm not sitting here saying his mom put anything in his head, but you have single mothers who think that being a single mother is enough to raise a kid, let alone 2 kids, and then let alone a boy. I mean, a boy is a whole different ball game. But you know, man, this is where guys start having their mommy issues. Is when they lack a father figure too. Because now you're talking about, like, look, when you're talking about a woman, a female, talking about having a daddy issues, you're talking about a guy not being in his daughter's life. So she's raised by the mom. What the mom gonna teach you? Mom gonna only teach you what she know, and that's not good enough. Because a lot of these women work. You're talking about the Western society now. You're talking about the Western society of single mothers. They will teach you. They will teach you shit backwards. Seriously, they will teach you shit backwards. Very rare do you come across single mothers, man, who are teaching their sons the right way. And if you are a single mother and you're teaching your son the right way, that means by getting that man a father figure. If you are a mom and you say you teaching your daughter the right way, that means by getting that daughter a father figure. Now, of course, it's going to be hard because, you know, you're a single mother and you might have a kid on your hip. You might have 2 kids on your hip. But like I said, man, but at the end of the day, you know, I will never rule out a single mother getting a man. I will never rule out it. I wouldn't suggest it. I wouldn't go out here and go suggest a man, hey, bro, you should go ahead and be a stepdaddy. No, I would never suggest it. But what I am saying is they need some type of father figure. The kid needs some type of father figure in their life. And that should be the woman's number 1 priority. Get this man a father figure. Whether it's just, nigga, hell, I just got a male friend, or I'm going out to go look for somebody who probably has kids of their own. Don't know. But you need, the kid needs to have a father figure to avoid having daddy issues and mommy issues. But when you look at a man, you hear mommy issues, the mom's in the life, but you're talking about a mom trying to raise a boy to be a man. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that, man. So, and you know, when you look at it, right, you know, they also got a song, you know, I think it was maybe by Keisha Cole or K. Michelle, I believe. You can't raise a man or something like that. And it's like, of course not. You can't raise a man. A woman shouldn't jump into a relationship with a man and she has to raise him. He should already be a man to begin with. So a woman knows what a man is, but does she know what it takes to be a man? Does she know what she got to do on her end? A lot of women don't. So you end up raising a boy. They have a skewed way of raising a man. So you end up raising one. You end up raising a simp. You end up raising a guy who's gullible as hell. You end up raising an emotional Negro. You end up raising a guy, man, who think the world revolves around that person or around him. You raise a guy who think the world revolves around him. So, you know, man, he has a skewed way of thinking what a man truly is. So, you know, like you may have some guys right here, man, who will beg, steal, borrow, do all types of dumbass shit, and at the end of the day call himself a man. It's like, bro, you're not a man, bro. You got a man who will sit up here and literally only act off an impulse. Always want to fight and always want to be aggressive. That's because he was raised by a woman. That's because he was raised by a woman, or he just did not have a structured home. He did not have a structured home. So the only thing he can do is, if it doesn't go his way, I'm gonna go knock somebody out. Like, what the hell? Like, nah, bro. Like, no, man. And I'm telling you, that's where you get a lot of those type of men come from your single parent homes, dude. Those type of men come from your single parent home. The ones that can't even freaking hold a conversation with you without them getting upset and angry and trying to knock you on the damn ground. So, man, yes, mommy issues do exist for men, and that's because men need that father figure. Men need that father figure. And a lot of these men with mommy issues, once again, come from single parent homes. These women who have daddy issues come from a single parent home raised by their mom. And I'm gonna say it again. Guys who have mommy issues come from a single parent home raised by their mom. Women who have daddy issues are raised by single moms because they don't have no dad in their life. They don't have no male guidance. And that goes on both ends, male and woman. So, man, hey, y'all do me a favor, man. Leave me a like, comment, and subscribe.